Hello, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace. Thank you for joining me today and following along. I want to share with you week 42 of the Margarete Miller 52-week collage challenge. And what we were to do this week is choose our favorite beverage and create a collage to recognize it. Well, as you can see, I have chosen Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was something we always knew about. We didn't always have a lot of it at home back when I was young, but we did have some because on Friday evenings my father loved popcorn or roasted peanuts, and we would do one of those two things on Friday evening, and we always had Coke with one of those two snacks while we were watching TV on Friday evening. Also, if we didn't do that on some Fridays, we would go to a barbecue place in Atlanta called Hickman's, and you could get the 6-ounce Cokes in a bottle back then, and we were always allowed to get that when we were back then. That's about mostly the only times we drank Coke. We mostly drank sweet tea at meals, milk in the morning with our breakfast. That sort of thing. So that is my memories of Coca-Cola. But because I am from where Coke was developed, I wanted to do my collage based on a little bit of the history of Coca-Cola. It was developed in Atlanta, Georgia, and I live in a suburb of Atlanta. So what you have here, this is an early Coke sign and an early Coke bottle. So what you have here in the background is a picture of Jacob's Pharmacy, which is where the very first Coca-Cola was sold as a soda fountain drink. And that was on May 8th, 1886. It was developed by a pharmacist, and that's how it all began. What you see in this collage as well is early bottles of early to later bottles of Coke and how the bottle changed over time. This bottle and this label was one of the very early ones, but there were competitors who were copying similar designs in bottles, because that was an ordinary bottle, and similar designs in the label, trying to gain some of the clientele that Coca-Cola had gotten. So early on, after a few years, Coca-Cola came up with this more curvaceous bottle. This is a later version of that, but the early version, the very first one, was very curvaceous. Think of Mae West. It was very curvaceous, and that bottle was patented along with the Coca-Cola logo. So that kind of helped keep competitors from copying their design. They're trying to look like them for other people to say, oh, this must be Coke. We call it Coke here in the South. And most of the time, if you go to a restaurant and they say, what do you want to drink? You don't say Coca-Cola. You say Coke. They may have Pepsi products, but you still say Coke. So then they say, well, is Pepsi okay? So it's, I know we use Coke generically like other parts of the country use pop for a soda drink. So anyway, that's just because I guess it was developed here. So anyway, I hope you enjoy my collage. I like how it turned out. I like having that little bit of history there. And if you are interested in further history of the Coca-Cola product, you can go online and put in Coca-Cola history, and there's a whole thing there, lots of things you can look at and see. We also have a Coca-Cola museum in Atlanta that gives you obviously the history, but it also has where you can sample the different formulas of Coca-Cola across the world, because they would develop Coca-Cola for the area. So the European Coca-Cola tastes a little different than the American Coca-Cola, and Mexican Coca-Cola tastes a little different. And so they have all the different countries. They formulated it for their taste. Anyway, that's my collage for this week. Thank you for coming along. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you'd like to see the other videos that I do. And I have all of my collages in a playlist if you'd like to go back and look and see what others I have done. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.